guys, Goody here, and welcome back to some more Napoleon's Total War. So today we are on Siberian Plateau, and this is going to be a 2v2. So Andrew sent me in this replay. He's going to be in command of the British. Now the rules for this battle were 1 artillery max and max 5 lights. So with that being said, let's head straight into his army comp. So starting on the left flank and going to the right, he's going to be bringing the foot guards. So very elite unit. I think these guys are just behind the Coldstream, so they are definitely up there in terms of skill, and they're going to be controlling Andrew's far left flank. Next to them, we have a lot of foot guards actually, and they're going to be the bulk of his line units. And these guys are going to serve the sole purpose of just sheer manpower. In terms of artillery, we have 1 6-pound horse artillery. And I believe Andrew brought this just because these guys are extremely mobile on the battlefield, so they can get to point A to point B at a very, very quick rate. In terms of light infantry, he's got some Lightfoot and some King's German Legion Lightfoot, so 2 of each there. And then he's got some Horse Guards and some 10th Hussars, so some pretty elite cavalry, even though the British don't have the best of cav, they do have a wide variety of cavalry. Looking at the far right flank now, we have some foot guards as well as some more foot. So like I said, those foot are going to be controlling the flanks of the army, and then we have some more light foot and then a 15th Hussar. Taking a look at his opponent, we have the Prussians here. Not going to go into too much detail about what he has, but by looking around you can see he's bringing a very normal army, you can say. He's also going to be bringing a 6-pound horse artillery. So both him and Andrew have the same ideas in mind, trying to be mobile and get their artillery pieces up there as quickly as possible. Allied to the Prussians, we have the Russians. And instead of bringing artillery, he's going to be bringing sheer manpower, something Russia is very, very good at. So we will see how he can counteract his opponent, which is going to be in command of the Ottomans. And he, on the other hand, is going to be bringing an 18-pound foot artillery. So I think the rules also said no howitzers of any sort, so regular cannons shooting regular cannonballs. So this is going to make artillery much less OP than usual. And the battle is about to be commenced. Why is he shooting backwards? I don't know. His guys are having a brain fart right now. Maybe they will learn. Thank God the fuse isn't going off, though. If it was, it looks like... Oh. Okay. Interesting. Breaking some logs over here. Looks like the British artillery, excuse me, still needs some training. These guys, they look sharp. I'll give them that, but really not thinking too much. So, with that being said, Prussian artillery, on the other hand, definitely well prepared and are going to be kicking off the engagement and shooting straight at the British. Actually downing some cavalry, so Andrew definitely needs to be cautious of where he moves his cavalry, because that volley just shredded 5 guys. Here goes another volley soaring overhead. But it looks like Andrew's going to have a flanking force here. And it looks like the Prussians are not going to worry too much about them, seeing that he's positioning himself on the hill. But one advantage that he does have over Andrew is superior range. So he has Silesian Schützen, and they're going to have a lot more range than he will on the battlefield. As for the Ottoman player, he looks to be defending his side of the hill, and he's also going to be engaging with his artillery. Good shots there, not killing anyone, but definitely scaring the enemy. We have the 17th Jaegers here, and I think the Russians have the best uniforms in terms of camouflage. Green is such a good color on the battlefields, and I think the other factions are a bit crazy with their very vibrant colors such as red and white. Well, actually, I think the Prussians could get away with it too. They have a lot of white, and it is a snow map, so at least the Russians and the Prussians are thinking. So it looks like the artillery pieces are just wanting to shoot stuff down. That one actually hitting the building here. So whoever owns that's going to be a little bit unhappy at what the Prussians are doing. But besides that, it looks like the Russians are going to be making a push in the center, and they're going to try and claim this forest here. So he knows that the forest is very beneficial in blocking volleys. So by keeping that objective, it's going to be very effective. It actually looks like the British have left an artillery piece on the battlefield. Very interesting move here. British artillery just not thinking at all right now. But they still have 3 pieces left, and they look to be getting very, very close to the enemy positions here. Schlesien-Schützen on the move once again, this time pushing even further into the forest. And we also have some British cavalry here. It looks like the 15th Hussars are trying to scout out any enemy forces here. And they're getting very, very close to the Prussian Schlesien-Schützen. Taking a look back at the 6-pound horse artillery. Looks like they're trying to take out the British artillery. British artillery going to be turning around here, but not at a good angle. He's going to be shooting straight into the dirt. But look at this. We got a cavalry charge here. Cuirassiers charging straight into the 15th Hussars. Cuirassiers definitely more skillful in terms of cav-on-cav engagements. So these British cav are going to get decimated, especially when they're taking a head-on charge like this. So the battle has commenced, and just like that, already losing 5 guys, Cuirassiers only losing 1. And it looks like it's going to be forcing the British back. Cuirassiers are going to continue to follow. But the British are well prepared. They're forming up their battle lines now, getting ready for these Cuirassiers to come within range. But the Prussian player knows better and is going to end up retreating. Over here, though, looks like the Russian Jaegers getting very, very close to the British and actually engaging the foot guards here. Losing 5 guys, so without controlling the forest, it's going to be very costly. So he's going to retreat beneath the hill, and this is going to prevent those lights from shooting him. And we also have the Ottoman lights engaging as well. They are well protected behind stakes, so, you know, the same equivalence of being in a forest. And with the British artillery is shooting the dirt mounds, it's actually looking like howitzer pieces, how they just kind of float in the air. And it's actually getting some arcing distance, so they might be able to get some lucky shots in and kill some Prussians. But by the looks of it, with the British being super untrained with those artillery pieces, they are not going to accomplish much at all. The Russian Jaegers just trying to do as much damage as possible. And it seems to be working. I mean, killing quite a few of these Ottoman troops. And with that happening, it looks like the British IanJ's going to be pushing up the horse guards here. Charging them into the forest. Russian Jaegers not able to form square. Going to get a very good volley off, but it looks like these horse guards will make it into melee combat. Officers taking out his pistol and shooting someone. But very unprotected right now. We do have some militia here. We actually, never mind, I take that back. We have some musketeers just behind them. So they're going to get some really good shots off on these horse guards. Let's take a look at this next volley as they rip into the horses. Here it comes. And just mowing down those horse guards. So, looks like it will easily be countered here. But we also have some King's German Legion Lightfoot now pushing up. They're going to try and get some combat in the forest here. And they're going to be aiding these horse guards in the melee engagement. And it seems to be working. Those, looks like the Russian Jaegers did break, so horse guards did accomplish what they were set out to do. And that was take out the lights. And now we have the Russian militia engaging in melee combat, still with the horse guards with only 11 men left. And still very good morale. And these guys are going to get shot heavily in the side right here. And there goes the horse guards, but these foot guards are going to engage and just decimate the Russian militia as they try to retreat from the battlefields. Actually, they're going to be pushing up even further. It looks like they're going to get in some melee combat, but just getting mowed down. Wavering at 64 men and going to get charged by some Janissaries. There is no way they're going to last through that, so they do end up breaking with 52 men left. But this is going to allow the Russian musketeers to form their battle lines. And here comes the Janissaries rushing through the forest and heading straight towards the musketeers. Musketeers getting some point-blank volleys in, but looks like the Janissaries do make it into melee combat. Russians, though, on the other hand, shifting over even more troops now, seeing that their battle lines are starting to be engaged. And taking a look at the combat right now. A lot of action is happening. Another melee engagement here. Looks like the foot are going to be getting charged into by the musketeers, but they're going to get shot at heavily before they do make it into melee combat. Officer shooting his pistol, downing that guy. Good shot there by the officer. And the Russians now giving it to the British. Over here, King's German Legion Lightfoot holding their ground very well. Janissaries deep within Russian lines right now. But they too are getting shot, this time by the Moscow Musketeers. They are in square formation, so they're prepared for these Janissaries. And right now the Janissaries are trying to mow down these Musketeers. But it looks like their attack is starting to die out, getting pretty low on numbers, but still charging deeper and deeper into enemy lines. This time into the Lifeguard Foot now. A very elite unit for the Russians. And it looks like the Russians will fend off this attack very easily and breaking those Janissaries. Taking a look on the other side of the battle, it looks like we have a skirmish engagement here, and they are targeting the British artillery. So these guys should probably die. They have done nothing to help the Queen. So it's better off if they're dead than living. As mean as that may sound, it is very, very true. Looks like the Lightfoot are going to be shooting at the Lancers here. Lancers actually breaking those foots. So it looks like the Russians did rout, but also did the British. And would you look at this? We got the Safai Cavalry now engaging. Big clash here. And it looks like they're on a mission to try and get the general here. But it looks like the Russian cavalry are not letting them kill the general. They're doing all that they can to try and prevent the Safai Cavalry from doing any harm. And it looks like the Russians are successful in this attack here. But over here, the general is still highly at risk. The elite cav troops from the Ottomans do end up breaking. And very interesting to see, despite the Russian cav not nearly being as elite. Taking a look on the left flank though, skirmish engagement is still continuing. And this artillery is still getting ripped to pieces here. But taking a look to the main combat zone, looks like the Russians are winning out on this side, but here comes some rifles from the Ottomans. And they're going to be farming up and firing on the enemy. And then the Ottomans trying to outflank the Russians here, but with the Russian force being very densely populated in this forest, it's not going to be a huge deal. Now these foot are going to be suffering a lot of losses since they are outside of the forest, and that means little to no protection. King's German Legion trying their best to hold back these Russians right now. But I have to give props to the Russian player, just making very good moves, especially in a 2v1 scenario. The Prussian player is really not helping him out too much, and he's doing just fine. And you gotta love these Russian uniforms blending in fantastically to their environment, so that has to be helping their cause as well, compared to the British, which are sticking out like a sore thumb with their red uniforms. Over here, the Prussians seem to be making a push on the British now. We got an engagement over here, though, and it looks like Andrew in a tough position right now. Forced to form a square, but here comes a cavalry charge. Very ballsy move from the 15th Hussars, charging into a much more elite unit of cuirassiers. So these guys, not too sure what they're thinking, like the artillery piece, but they're going to die for their country and hopefully cause as much bloodshed on these cuirassiers as possible. Now this is going to allow the British to form back up into an appropriate formation. We have foot guards and Lightfoot now engaging. Some Silesian Schützen and musketeers. So it looks like a cavalry charge has been set out by the Prussians here. And the Lancers getting a phenomenal charge in on this King's German Legion Lightfoot, as well as the foot guards. These guys, unable to form a square, do end up breaking, and just like that, the Russians and Prussians control the central territory. 10th Hussars being pushed up, seeing that there is a huge threat in the center, and artillery just blasting through those two horses. And the Russians feeling very confident now, going to be continuing to push up their attack. Looks like the horse artillery is going to try and retreat. Somehow they managed to survive, despite their silly and stupid mistakes. So they're going to be retreating back, and hopefully they can redeem themselves from the horrible things that have been going on. So British here kind of isolated on, excuse me, on the far right flank. They are, facing an even amount of troops, but it looks like the Prussians are in a better position to help aid than these guys over here. It looks like Andrew's going to be retreating pretty far back, seeing that their flank is pretty exposed here. Russians trying to push up. See some lonely musketeers here with 33 men trying to engage. But they're going to be taking some heavy losses, but here it comes, the foot guards running very, very quickly across the battlefields. And here is the 6-pound horse artillery. So if Andrew is able to form these guys up and get canister going, it'll be very effective. But it looks like he's going to be retreating below the hill. Doesn't want to risk losing those guys. Oh, that volley is just devastating. Just tearing through those light foot. And these foot guards are looking very, very sharp right now. Looks like that foot is used to help separate the two armies. And it looks like some lancers and some lifeguards are being pushed through behind Andrew's lines, and it looks like they're going straight down the ranks and heading straight for the rifles here. It's going to force Andrew into square formation, but these lights, unable to form square, are going to take a brutal beating. And charging into some more cavalry, this time the 10th Hussars. So more even engagement, but it looks like the 10th Hussars are pretty scared right now, so they're going to be retreating. And here comes another charge from the Lancers. Getting a downhill charge into the 10th Hussars. 10th Hussars definitely outskilled here. But once again, going to try and do their best. And like I was saying, Prussians easily able to help aid this left flank. So they're going to get some phenomenal flanking shots in on these British, which are down in the forest here. Still hanging on with some decent numbers. But as this engagement rages on, both sides are suffering heavy losses. Over here though, Russians doing a really good job on this flank. It looks like the Ottoman lines are trying to form up, but are taking heavy losses from the musketeers. Looks like we have some lifeguard foot here as well, and they're going to be trying to outflank these musketeers, or excuse me, Ottoman lines. And once again, another devastating volley straight into those Ottomans. This flank is going to collapse very shortly if he does not aid those units, and it looks like they will collapse. Over here, Andrew not looking so great. Morale getting very, very weak. Foot and foot guards drained in morale. And their enemy counterpart still with some fairly healthy numbers. Looks like they're winning out very easily on this flank. But right now, Andrew and his ally are pretty much losing this engagement. It's just been a losing situation for these guys for a very long time. And what is this guy doing? This British artillerymen are just crazy. Where is he going? Is he really just gonna die like this? Oh my. You know, there's stupid, and then there's just stupid. What are these guys doing? They need to be on their artillery pieces fighting, not in melee combat. These guys. The Queen really needs to teach these guys how to fight, because right now they are not doing a good job at all. Just not proving their skill whatsoever. But look at that. Looks like the Ottomans did sneak a couple units around behind and did kill the Russian general. So that's going to influence the morale, and maybe there can be a shift in power. We have a massive melee push here by the Russians. Maybe the artillery can help out. We will see. Hopefully he doesn't shoot his own troops. I swear if he does. Nope, just shooting the dirt like usual. These guys, man. Anyways, big push by the Russians here. Trying to use their melee skill, but they do not know that they have Janissaries here. Janissaries, known for their melee skills, are going to be pushed in. And the Russians trying their best on this push, but it's going to be very difficult with the dead general and Janissaries coming at them. So this might be a big turning point for the British and the Ottomans here. We have the IanJ reforming his lines here. After being forced back very, very far. But it looks like this counterattack is working with the Janissaries, forcing these Russians back and dropping their morale significantly. We have some foot here, and they're going to be engaging the lifeguard foot. Getting shot there by the Prussian foot guards, which are still extremely active and healthy. But these Janissaries trying their best right now. British artillery trying their best, actually killing a guy, so props to them. But will he get canister off? He's going to try and reload. Here comes some Moscow Musketeers charging into the lights. Bayonets up, they are ready for the charge, but they do not make it. Morale gets to them. So we will see if this British artillery can engage. They're in a perfect position right now to get a good canister volley in. But with them not being so smart, we will see. Turning the battery to face the lifeguard afoot, will he shoot canister? Is the question. And yes, he will. There goes the British artillery that we all know of. Finally doing some beneficial work and starting to mow down these lifeguards. Big push here by the Prussians here on the far right flank. We have Lightfoot up against some Silesian Schützen. Very close engagement, but it looks like the Prussians still do outnumber them. It looks like the 10th Hussars pushing up here, though. Unprotected Silesian Schützen are going to get charged into, and it looks like these foot guards will not be able to protect them right away. So great charge by Andrew with the cavalry, and that's going to decimate the morale. Foot guards do form square, and it looks like they will end up getting some good shots in. Here comes the Lancers, though. They're going to try and do the same back what Andrew did to him. But these foot are definitely prepared for that charge, and those Lancers are going to feel the wrath of the British. So they will try to charge in slowly. They do, but they break on impact. So things are definitely turning out for the better for Andrew and his ally. And these 6-pound horse artillerymen doing a good job, excuse me. Let's see. Oh, what are they doing? Okay, it looks like they're going to be reloading. Here comes more lifeguard, though. Getting very close to the artillery, and it looks like they're going to be getting back into some more melee engagement. Actually, these guys are just running right past them. Interesting move there. Looks like they are on a mission to chase down these foot, which are retreating. Looks like some did stick around and are going to try and beat the British artillery, and they do end up breaking them. So it looks like 2 of the artillerymen are going to retreat. Here comes some lifeguard afoot, continuing the charge here. Not a smart move by the Russians. I thought he'd learned that the Janissaries are just very overpowered and cause too much damage for him to continue. But I guess he is, and look at this lifeguard afoot trying to charge into the general. This general's going to have none of that and just slaughter these guys as they try to come closer to him and just decimate that unit. But it looks like the right flank is collapsing. Andrew's getting very low on the right flank with troops. And the Prussians are doing a good job on the push. Looks like the Musketeers coming in for a melee charge, charging into the Lightfoot, it seems. Getting very close. And there goes the charge. So Andrew all alone on this, all alone on this right flank. We have some foot and Lightfoot engaging, but other than that, he is very low on resources. But thankfully, the Ottomans are doing well right now. The Russians are just getting filed out, and we will see if these guys can make it into melee combat. Good shots there, and it looks like they will not. So Ottoman player really doing a good job at keeping his distance with the Russians and the Prussians. British general, though, charging after the Prussian general. Ottoman artillery also is engaging, and here comes another charge, this time with the lifeguard foot. Bad morale for the Russians. Will they make it into melee combat? I believe they will, but they're going to be forced to fight a square and some lines behind that, and the morale is definitely dropping, and that has a lot to do with the death of the Russian general. Looks like a clash here with the generals right now. British general trying to kill as many Silesian Schützen as he can, but he's getting shot at right now. Down to 4 guys in his unit. Still morale very strong. Let's try to locate him. 1 guy flying off his horse. Down to 3, down to 2. Here is the British general. Will he make it out alive? No, he will not. So Andrew's general is dead. And this is the last of his units, so Andrew is pretty much out of the battlefield now. Still has 1 foot unit left, but with the death of his general, that's going to hurt him and his allies' morale significantly. But it looks like these Prussians are getting flanked right now. We got Ottoman Lights flanking them on top of the hill. And artillery bombarding as well. Looks like the lifeguard foot still engaging the Ottoman lines. And seem to be doing a pretty good job despite the morale and numbers. But the Prussian attack is starting to get weaker and weaker as things continue. Losing more and more men as they try to push. And just like that, down to their final few units. So right now, Ottoman player looking very sharp with his movements. And it looks like the Prussian general is going to try and shoot. Here he is. Last guy alive. Will he make it out? Will he make it out? And it looks like he will. So pretty much 2 out of the 4 generals did make it out. Oh, the other 2 out of the 4 did die. And it looks like the Ottoman general is going to be chasing him down. We will see, though. He is coming in much quicker than what the Prussian general is trying to retreat at. And he's still got a long ways to go. So, I don't know. Prussian general's trying to get out of here. But here comes the Ottomans. Will they make it to him? Will he make it to the red line? We will see. Oh, he's getting very close. But the border is right there. Oh no, I don't think he's gonna make it. No, he's not gonna make it. So close, but couldn't make it to safety. And the Ottoman general did kill him. So 3 out of the 4 generals are dead. So the Ottoman general, only general remaining. And he was so close to freedom. I mean, 100 yards away and he would have been set free. But sadly, his horse could not carry him far enough, and he will die out here and be remembered as the coward that left his men behind. So down to the final unit here. Foot Guard's going to be holding off a last stand. And a very, very good battle overall. This game was very close and action-packed. So these guys are going to stick strong despite their general being a coward and the rest of their troops retreating. They're going to be forming square and holding off to the bitter end. So here comes Andrew and the rest of his troops. Only 42 men. And here comes the rest of the Ottomans. Foot, though, going to be holding off in square formation, getting a good shot in. British also getting some good shots in. Love how the flag bear's just chilling here. Keeping the morale high with the flag raised. Here goes a melee charge by Andrew here. But these foot guards do not miss their shots, just downing troops as they get closer and closer. And there they go, artillery very close to Prussian positions. And now the Ottomans are going to get a piece of this foot guard unit. Oh, now the flag bearer is going to be a part of the outer circle. And these guys are going to hold on, but losing men after... a lot of men, actually. Just like that, down to 90 men. And they're going to continue to shift their units, making the square smaller and smaller. Here comes another Ottoman push. 38 men. Man, those artillery pieces are close. Reforming once again. Will these guys make it to the square? Losing a lot of men as they continue to charge in. Here they come, though. And making it into melee combat. 2 units of very poor morale, but it looks like the Ottomans will break, and the old guard, or excuse me, foot guard, still holding out strong. This time we got some rifles now pushing in. This foot guard's doing a really good job despite being in square formation. Flag bear still alive. That guy going flying across the screen. And the square is shrinking and shrinking even smaller. There's the officer. He's going to be hiding behind his men as a meat shield. Soon they will no longer be able to form square. But they're going to try their best to look as classy as they can. Brave men just willing to die the honorable death. So here comes more Ottoman troops getting closer and closer. Prussians going to try and do their best. And there they go. They cannot form square any longer. And with that being said, they're going to charge but end up breaking instantly when they leave square formation. And their guys are going to get mowed down. So that is the game. Extremely good matchup, very high quality, and thank you IanJ for the replay, greatly appreciated. So taking a look at the stats, Ottoman player doing a good job, 1,000 kills, and then IanJ getting 1,300 kills, but actually coming in second. You see the Russian player on top with 1,306 kills compared to who's 1,302, and then we have the Prussians over here with 841. Taking a look at the unit statistics, foot guards on top, we have to locate where this artillery is. Yep, no surprise, getting 12 kills, so not impressive at all. Those guys should be ashamed, the two that ran off. Definitely should be ashamed and should get some better training before they come back. But anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. And some news about the channel. We are getting very close to 1,000 subscribers. Still can't believe that. That is just incredible that 1,000 people would want to subscribe to my content. I find it pretty bad quality, but I guess you guys enjoy it, so why not keep doing it? And also, I have put a Discord link in the description. Go check it out. If you guys want to talk to me, just hit me up in Discord and we can just have some games together and have a good time. So that is there, but that is pretty much it, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate all the support, and I will see you guys later.